What's up, guys? Welcome back to the build vlog. Today we're on episode 4 and we're going to be talking about how the heck I'm going to fit 40-inch tires under this Colorado, and we're going to touch on a motor swap that I never intended ever doing. So I borrowed some 38-inch tires from buddies in the local forum and local Facebook group, and he said, "Hey man, I've got these 38-inch rollers. They're not that great, but they'll at least work for you, and they'll be pretty close to specs that you have on your wheels." So, dude dropped them off the other day, and we put them on there. You guys should have seen a picture a couple days ago of this tire on the truck on Instagram, and we might have some issues fitting it to the truck. Let me flip the camera around and I'll show you guys what is going on. Alright, so essentially that is where the tire starts to bind the coil bucket, basically. So pretty much as high as I can get it. But the other side is within about an inch or so of the shock extended length at the current location of the shock tower. Probably should pull a measurement here on this side and see what I'm doing with my shock lengths. So extended is about 32, and compressed is probably going to be about 18.5, 19 inches. So let's see what that looks like. So that essentially means that I still have 2 more inches of shock that I can utilize at that location. So I need to change that up a little bit. I knew it needed to go down because I'm going to go lift a little bit higher than what it was. So yeah, but that means it's perfect, because if I move the shock bucket down an inch or two, and if I move the coil bucket down an inch or two, and I move the shock bucket an inch or two down, that'll absolutely work. So let me see what my extended length on the other side is. Alright, so we got 33. So technically, if I were to drop this in this 2 inches, so 1, 2 inches, drop it down to the bottom here, and drop it down another 2 inches, that would mean that this is almost exactly full droop and full stuff, and I barely start kissing the tower here. So I might want to just kind of flatten that edge off so that it just rubs the coil and not the hard metal. But yeah, now we know our kind of maximums. Let's see how our tire fitment is. So as you guys can see, this is basically not gonna work. I guess my worries of not being able to run the headlights is going to be okay, but I guess if I just kind of trim this across and then down, it probably won't look too bad. Give me a little better clearance, and I'll do some bar work across here. But remember, these are only 38-inch tires, 38 Milestar Patagonias. The tires that I've got coming are the Mickey Thompson Baja Boss 40 by 1350s. So there's going to be definitely some fitment issues that are going to be specific to those tires, and obviously the specific offset that I've got. But I really wanted to see firsthand where I was in real world instead of just pulling tape and whatnot, because last week when we were pulling the motor and kind of goofing off with the links, I was like, man, how do I make this happen? How does this work? How am I going to get this to to actually fit on here. So I guess what's next is I'll do the take the tires off and set this back down. I'm going to cut the shock tower and coil bucket mount out of there. Obviously they got to be moved. Probably won't do the cut the drag link out just yet. Honestly, I probably could and should just to do it. Later in this video, we're going to be making some new jack stands. Effectively, I've got some perf tube and I've got some 2-inch receiver tube that I'm going to make into a extended jack stand, and I'm going to make some kind of short ones because I need the short jack stands that I've got, the little short adjustable ones, for my other car. Unfortunately, before I can pull the motor out of the Yukon, I have to do a motor swap, or at the very least a head job on my commuter car. My LXB, I went to change oil Monday and figured, you know what, it's been a long time since I've checked the spark plugs. I'm going to pull those out, just see how they're looking, and see if I need to replace them. 15-20 bucks is not that hard to swap out plugs. So I got them all torn out and they looked good. I went to put them back in and I noticed that cylinder number 1 had like 2 threads and then it wouldn't keep turning. So I pulled some other spark plugs out again and I started looking down there and I realized I only have 2 threads in the head left on that cylinder. Great. Took off the next morning to drop my daughter off at daycare, and about halfway there, spark plug number 1 decided to leave the head. Unfortunately, I made the bad decision of driving it home. What I should have done to drive home was disconnect the coil pack and disconnect the injector. That would have probably saved this motor. But instead, I'm a mile and a half away. I thought, you know what, screw it. I'll blast home, park it, drive the Yukon, and no big deal. Well, it turns out in that mile, I absolutely destroyed this. I cooked the coil. I cooked the wiring that went to it. So, super bad idea. If you ever develop a blown spark plug, just park it, tow it, fix it, whatever. I'm pretty sure that the compression is toast on that. It doesn't idle very well or sound very good at idle, and yeah, so I'm really hoping that it's salvageable, and I'm really worried that it's going to take me months to get into a machine shop and fix this stupid thing, or I just go to junkyard and pull another head, which I'm not looking forward to, but I'll do. There's 3 in the yard. I just took a look at them Tuesday, just for giggles, and basically this has to come out before I can take the motor out of the Yukon because I have to have a vehicle to drive around. I've got some parts on order for the third link. I'm going to go bigger, beefier, 1.25 high, so I've got to take the other one out. I'm not going to be able to use those pieces. I'll use them for something else. But for now, I wanted to make some taller jack stands. Obviously, the dinky Craftsman one that I've got is just way too small. I scored this like a 2-inch perf tube.
Telespar.
All back for free. I got 5 or 6 sticks of this stuff. Little short kind of short sections. So figured, well, that's a couple of these would be more than strong enough. I picked up a receiver tube, and what's nice about it is it fits right in. It's 2-inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this stupid thing off here and figure out my measurements. I started marking it up, and I think I'm just going to cut that ridge off here and do it right. See how far I get with the grinder, and if I got to break out the plasma, I'll do that. Well, it looks like my welder took a crap. I've had it for like 4 months. Welded pretty good, but apparently it just stopped working. So got a different one on order. It'll be here Monday, but that'll have to be for the next episode. At least the plasma still works, so let's go outside and knock out some of the items that we need to cut off the frame, and then we'll even cut off the motor mount ears so we can clear the V8 motor mounts that we make. Alright, so I need to know that my axle's in the right place. Because I'm going to start cutting some of this stuff off. I'll cut the links off and this off to do the other third link. So I need to know that the axle is where it should be, so that when I go to put stuff back together, like the drag link, when we put it back here and whatnot, that it's where it needs to be. Obviously with the welder not working right now, I can't tack some of the new stuff in. I can't really weld any of this. So for now, I'm just going to take some measurements and plasma off what I can, and then we'll see, kind of see where we end up. We're at 33. It means the axle's got to go that way, and it makes sense that it's got to go that way because we're now higher, and so the axle with this track bar, the axle wants to swing down in this way, so I need to move the whole axle this way. Also, one thing I noticed is this is 43 inches between the top of the coil buckets. I'm undecided if I'm going to move the bolt hole in a half an inch, which would be a hell of a lot easier, and I've got the real estate to do it, because my spring pads on the axle are about a half an inch inboard of where they need to be. So I'm not sure if I want to cut and weld and move these outboard just a touch, or I think what's going to be the absolute easiest is I've got room to do it. Cut a new hole and then cut the faces of my plasma at some point, and that'll be it. Alright, that's within about a quarter inch of, or an eighth of an inch of centered now, and I'm happy with that. So I guess the next thing to do is to take the track bar out and get to cutting. Put this back on the heim so I don't lose my misalignments. A little oversight there. I put these in before I welded the shock towers in, and I literally have less than a quarter inch before that bolt touches, so maybe I'll be mindful this next time around to put them in from this side. That way all I gotta do is put that nut right there. Alright. Pick away at this. Hopefully I don't have any issues with this power steering fluid. Guess we'll find out soon enough, eh? It's a little bit flammable. There we go. So it's not a pilot arc unit, but I can get it kind of close to a poly arc by making it arc off of the side here, and then it gives it a little plasma stream. So I'm trying to cut the weld out, but not the frame and not the actual shock towers. So some of you know that when you swap an LS into the Colorados, you need some custom motor mounts. We've got some here. We make them. I've got bushings coming in here within the next week or two to fulfill the orders that we've already got. But I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bushings coming in, so I don't intend on ever running out. So these mounts go into the stock 5 and 4 cylinder motor mounts so that you can adapt the LS to the factory towers. But the problem is these don't clear the brackets. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of get them close, plasma out what we have to, and then kind of trim and see how they fit. So let's get you guys inside there, and I'll show you guys what it takes. There you go. Alright guys, I'm going to shut the video down here. I've got this side all cleaned off. You guys can see here the old kind of track bar mount, the coil bucket and shock towers all out of there. Probably do a frame stiffener, frame plate across there another date, but I'm going to tear off the other side now, and next week when we come back with our episode, I'll be working on links and all sorts of fun stuff. So thanks for watching.